Okay. How about investors who are concerned that their investment isn't diversified in the company? It's just going into one asset, and either that asset goes really well, or potentially it doesn't. There's no sort of hedging of their risk. They're very exposed to just one asset.
Okay. Well, it just depends on what they are after. Yet again, depends on the amount of money. We start working with this investors at £150,000. With £150,000, we will buy a house normally, but we cannot do with £150,000. We don't buy a building, not in the way we want to buy a building and actually develop it. And therefore, we would need a much bigger increase on the investment side. So we will then ask, you want something that is more varied, something that actually can be more interesting? That's really not up to the investor to decide. That's up to me to decide what the portfolio is doing at what particular time and what is the amount of investment that we are having from this person. So if this person invests £500,000, then obviously, yes, we can go into a conversion from commercial to residential. If you invest in £1 million, yes, of course, we can start building from scratch. But it really depends on that initial conversation. What is exactly that they are interested in and where's the company going? I cannot be told by the amount of investors where am I going to go, because I have a strategy of growth and I have to be true to that. And that's where this is what I can see. It's not whether I can have more money. Just because I can have more money doesn't mean that I'm going to use it. Because if it's not the right fit for the company at that time, then it's not a path that we will follow. If we are just buying houses in Birmingham because we are working with housing associations, then that's what we are doing. We are not developing houses in Scotland. That's not us. So we are buying houses in Birmingham in order to just work, because we work with social housing associations. So we can buy houses in London when we are following an HMO strategy. But at the end of the day, the company has an overall business plan, and that's the business plan that we follow. And it doesn't really matter whether the investor thinks that we are not diversified. At the end of the results is what matters. Are we making the money in order to pay back to the investor? Yes. Would the investor like to invest with us, knowing that we have control on where we are investing? If the answer is no, then they have to go somewhere else, because it is obvious that it's not going to work with us. I cannot be exactly going back to something that I mentioned earlier. We cannot take advice from someone that we are working that doesn't know what we are working in. RQT Property Investment has to follow its business plan, and it's only through that business plan that we have managed to grow the company over the past 10 years. If we do not follow that plan and we start buying randomly just because investors tell us, oh, you're not diversified enough, then we'll end up in a massive risk position where we are investing for no reason and we don't know what we're doing. So we need to follow the plan and stick to the plan, and the investor has to trust the process. We've done this again and again and again. And if they don't trust our process, if they don't trust us, if they don't like us, if they don't know us, they will not like us, they will not trust us, and we will not work together. And this is Raquel Cadal. If you have any more questions or want to know a little bit more about how we work and how we can potentially work together, just drop me an email at thegreenlandlady@gmail.com. Thank you very much and have a good evening.